The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends. Going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen right here. Give me a second. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We're going to continue to do that today. Not only are we going to talk about all the stuff that happened last night, all the stuff that happened last night. We're going to also run down the games. Football Friday, if you didn't know, wake up. It's Friday. We're going to talk about all the games that are going on tonight and over the weekend. We'll preview the whole weekend as well, but we also go the extra mile like Greenwood Chevrolet by featuring player profiles and coaches corners around the area. We will continue to do that today with a player profile featured from QB1 in Boardman, Zach Haas. He will be today's player profile feature as we gear up for Boardman's Week 3 game along with the rest of the slate. Boardman has a home game that was supposed to be senior night, but because of the impending weather, there could be some bad weather tonight. That's what the folks over at Storm Tracker 21 are predicting. Boardman has shifted their senior night. So I got that information from Coach Sipe, who is the assistant AD, last night during their volleyball game. He told me, hey, we were supposed to have senior night tonight, but they have pushed that because they don't want to have senior night in the rain or in the storm. So they are going to be playing Cheney tonight at home, Boardman, and that will be that game. And we will, of course, preview that in the other slate of games that are going to be on tonight as well as we go into Zach Haas's player profile a little bit later on the show. But first things first, we have some recapping to do. We have to pull up the scoreboard. Brought to you by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you are at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams across the YSN family, whether it be your best friends or your heated rivals. There's no better place to go than the scoreboard on ysnlive.com. It can be found at ysnlive.com/scores. And once again, it is proudly presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's get into it from Thursday, September 5th, 2024. Edison and Southern Local playing football, and the Wildcats offense runs wild for Edison. They win 42-24, the final score there. That was our only football game of Thursday, so make sure that score is tallied there for you Edison and Southern fans. Volleyball last night, we had a full slate of games. How about Orange getting another win, 3-2 over Bedford, a big win for them. Mohawk falling to Laurel, 3-0. Louisville getting the 3-0 win over Maslin Perry. That's a big win for the Leopards as they needed a confidence boost in a bad way after the tough loss they had earlier this week to Fitch. Speaking of Fitch, they go into Boardman, open up AAC play with a 4-set victory. I'll talk a little bit more about that game when we get through the scores. It was the first game for both teams in the AAC. Newton Falls, the Garrettsville Garfield, the G-Men stay unbeaten. They win 3-0 over Newton Falls. Struthers and Niles, it's the Wildcats that get the 3-0 win in this one. Lisbon has a big night. Stephanie Stacy gets the 1,000 career assists, but Wellsville gets the 3-1 victory over Lisbon. Perry gets the win over Edgewood, 3-0 the final score there. We have St. John. They get the win over Chalker in straight sets. Badger falls to Grand Valley. The Mustangs bounce back with a road victory in straight sets. Wyndham gets the win over Bloomfield in straight sets. And Southeast falls to Brookfield in 4. So Brookfield gets their first MVAC win of the year. Moody bounces right back from their midweek loss to Columbiana. They win in the Steel Valley Conference. Straight sets over East. All 3 sets were pretty competitive, but Moody gets the win nonetheless. Crestview all over champion in the MVAC. No shocker there. The Rebels are still just as dominant as ever inside the conference, especially. They win in straight sets. Abby Emch with another double-double under her belt. We have Fairport Harding and Pymatuning Valley. The Lakers get their second win in as many days as they win 3-1 over Fairport Harding. Girard, they had a tough match with Hubbard. It was 3 competitive sets, but the Indians win in straight sets 3-0 to get the sweep. Because they won, it sets up a monster matchup with Lakeview on Tuesday as both teams are undefeated in the conference. And like it usually does, Lakeview Girard coming down to the wire when it comes to the conference championship. So that'll be round 1 between those 2 teams on Tuesday in Cortland. Beaver Local, they get the win over Harrison Central in straight sets 3-0. And then their rival East Liverpool also gets to win in straight sets over Indian Creek 3-0. So both those teams with sweeps. LeBray sweeps Liberty 3-0 in the final score there. Western Reserve, they get the 3-0 sweep over Lowville. Western Reserve, a team that needed a big win in a bad way as well. So some momentum for Western Reserve. Milestone night for McDonald as Gianna Constantino gets her 1,000th career dig in their win over Waterloo in straight sets on the road in Atwater. So McDonald is one of the undefeated teams in the area as they win in straight sets. Middle Ridge, who went 5 with McDonald, almost became their first loss of the season, but could not quite finish that match. They go to Springfield and they lose in 5, 3-2. The Tigers get the big one over the Rams. Madison able to sweep Conneaut 3-0. Lakeview, as I said before, they stay undefeated with the win over Poland. So that'll set up the big matchup with Girard on Tuesday as the Bulldogs of Lakeview win 3-0 in straight sets. East Palestine, they fall to United 3-1, the final score there. And then Canfield with no trouble with Warren Harding 3-0, your final score for the Cardinals and their win, second win of the AAC. And the Cardinals are now 5-0 on the year. They will play in the weekend as well. So they have a big week after having a week off. Boys soccer scores, we have Orange falling to Mayfield 2-1. Austintown, Fitch, and Hubbard, they draw at a score apiece. Pymatuning Valley beats Lordstown 2-1. Jefferson falls to Madison 12-0. We have Warren JFK. They had a tough one against Ursuline. Wow. Did not see the Eagles give up that many goals too often. 10-3, the final score there. A big night for the Irish. Jackson Milton Soccer, they shut out Heartland 2-0, the final score there. Excuse me. East Liverpool and Stephenville Central Catholic, the Potters fall at home 6-0, the final score. Salem all over Middle Ridge 8-0, the final score in that one as Salem wins a big home game. West Branch goes to Boardman and the Spartans fall 5-4, a high scoring affair as the Warriors get the dub. Howland gets to win 1-0 over Harvey. Newton Falls and United all over the Tigers 9-0 in this one. Beaver Local edges out Poland 1-0, a big win for Beaver Local to come and beat the Bulldogs, who looked really, really good all year. Camel gets the win over Niles 4-1. Garrettsville, Garfield, and Brookfield They draw and a goal apiece, and then Bristol edges out Columbiana 4-3. Your final score there. On the girls' side of soccer, Columbiana shuts out South Range on the road 3-0. You can find a recap for that one on ysnlive.com. Matt Marr was also there for the coverage, so expect highlights here soon for that matchup, as that one was on ysnlive.com. Pymatuning Valley gets the win over Edgewood 1-0, the final there. And then St. Clairsville gets the win over Beaver Local 2-0, the final score. East Liverpool, they are able to edge out Harrison Central 2-1. Final, the Potters win by a goal. Grand Valley and Geneva, they draw at a goal apiece. Perry and Laurel play a really good matchup. The Pirates get the win in this one 3-2 by a goal. West Geauga beats Orange by a goal 3-2. So a good 3-2 final for the YSN family, and then a not so good 3-2 final for the YSN family. Southeast and Garrettsville Garfield doing battle in the MVAC, and it is Southeast that gets to win 8-0 over the G-Men. Waterloo falls to champion 3-0, a big win for the Flashes. We have Crestview getting the 2-1 win over Springfield. And last but not least, Brookfield gets the win over LeBray on the girls' side, 3-0, the final score there in that one. So that's your recap of the scores. I do want to go back and talk about some of these volleyball games, the ones that we got stats for, are the ones that I was at personally, and I was at Fitch at Boardman. This game, AAC rivals, they both want to beat each other so bad. The first two sets were very back and forth. Fitch won the first 25-19. Boardman won the second 25-20. And from those two, you thought this was going to be a really nailed down, drag out kind of match. And then Fitch won the next two 9-10. So 25-9, 25-10. Really ran away with things. And I think it was a matchup of adjustments, right? So Boardman came in with a very good game plan on the block, especially in that second set that they won. They were able to block Kylie Folkwine, who I think is the focal point of the Fitch's offense. They have other good hitters, other good kill getters for sure. But I was talking about in the broadcast with Angelina Campabianca, who made her debut as a YSN color commentary for volleyball. We were talking about it, and it's kind of obvious that Fitch's offense flows through Folkwine. So if you slow her down, you have a good chance to slow down the offense for the Falcons. And in the second set, Boardman proved that theory. They were blocking her quite a bit. They held her to 3 kills in the set, and they won 25-20. And then Fitch made a counter adjustment in the third and fourth set that Boardman couldn't answer, and that was the roll shot and the soft touch over the block. Those two types of shots were really giving Boardman a lot of trouble in sets 3 and 4. When you add that to the fact that the serve receive just kind of went away for the Spartans, you get a big Fitch win, 3-0. Kylie Folkwine, 22 kills. She had her normal day that she always does. I was really impressed with Riley Simons, like I always am. Not just her ability to set, but her ability to get the out-of-system sets, get to the ball, and get the ball to the hitters out of system. Really strong. And then I was also very impressed with Kayleana Ray. I mean, I keep saying this, but one of my big question marks for Fitch volleyball coming into this year was, what are they going to look like in the middle? Afton Roby was a big part of their middle block defense and offense last year. She graduates. What are they going to look like in the middle? They lost one outside. I kind of felt like they'd be okay with that because Kylie was still there, and I kind of knew that Katie Wilt was going to be a really good swing from the outside as well, and Morgan Roby does a really good job from opposite. So I thought the outsides and the right side would be okay for Fitch, but I really did have a question mark, and I think I expressed it on the show. What would their middle look like? In the 2 games that I've done them at Lakeview and I did them at Boardman. Kayleana Ray has played a just absolutely great middle block. They bring her on slides. They can run stuff with her that's a lot not vanilla at all, which you don't a lot see from the sophomores. Usually you want to keep your sophomore middle blockers in their first year of a consistent middle block. You want to keep them a little bit, vanilla, but man, Kayleana Ray showed all the complicated stuff, hit me with it, and she runs them to almost perfection. Not to mention that she serves really well. She had a big, I think, what was it? 11-point rally. It was 14-9 Fitch in that set 3. And they win 24-9. And that was all with Kayleana Ray at the service line. So her serve is really, really good as well. It's consistent. It's strong. It's one of those ones that streaks right over the net and then drops the final second. So really hard to read. Shocker with that family, right? Really impressed with what she's able to do on the volleyball court. And Fitch is impressive. I think if you had to pick a weakness for Fitch, when they struggled, their serve receive wasn't there, but they really adjusted to that pretty well. And then I would say maybe you could say their height, because they were getting blocked quite a bit for Boardman in those sets they struggled in. But that's you're nitpicking at that point. I think Fitch is making a statement in their first AAC game that they're still the favorites until someone says otherwise. Canfield's having a great start, and they looked really good against Howland, and they got the win last night. They're 2-0, so technically they're in the front of the AAC with 2 wins under their belt, with Fitch just having their first game. But I think you still got to say Fitch is favorite until you beat them. They're the reigning champions, and they haven't looked like they're slowing down any bit. They're still undefeated, 5-0. Nothing's showing you on tape that they're going to be not the favorites. So I think they still have to be that team to beat inside the conference. They definitely looked like that last night in Boardman. Very impressed with the Falcons. No shocker there. And I think Coach Herberger is doing a wonderful job stepping in last year and then now in her second year. The energy she brings, she runs out in the tunnel with them. She's like dancing through the tunnel. She brings a little bit of kind of that let your hair down energy, but I know when to get serious mindset. When I watch her coach, it's almost like she's a kid at heart, but she also knows when to lock it down, right? And I think that's awesome from a high school coach to be able to relate to your kids in a sense that how to have fun a little bit, but also be able to just rein them in when you have to and lock in and focus. And I think having a coach that's not one sided or the other, but the good mix of both is really good. And I think Coach Herberger does a really good job of that. 2 really good coaches last night. Coach Calvin, former YSU volleyball player, knows her stuff. And then Coach Herberger, who is a great volleyball coach as well. But Fitch, like I said, gets the win. They are still undefeated, and that was their first AAC matchup. So excited to see what the Falcons have in store for the rest of the season. They are going to have a big one with Mooney on Tuesday before they get back into league play again. I think next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look at their schedule to be absolutely sure. But I think next Thursday, they get back into league play. And, that's not going to be an easy league. Canfield is looking good. Howland is really good. And that's going to be the big matchup, I think, for Kayleana Ray to really kind of prove like I belong here, because Canfield and Howland both have really good middle blocks. But Howland, especially with Sienna Dykes, what she's able to do in the middle, really going to test Fitch. I can't wait for that matchup. When we get back on Running Point, we're going to take a quick break. We will dive into the games that are going to happen tonight, Friday football action. No worries, we got to cover with a bunch of games on the network. We'll talk about that and more. We'll also have Zach Haas's player profile on the other end of this commercial break as well. Don't go anywhere. Running Point brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper.
because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good. It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. And we will continue Running Point by featuring our player profile this week. From the football side of things, it is Boardman's QB1, Zach Haas. He'll be featured on today's episode of Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, as Boardman gets ready to play Cheney tonight at home, trying to go 2-1 in the season. We'll see what QB1 has to say about his year and what he's putting together this team. So here's Zach Haas, quarterback from Boardman, on this episode's player profile. Anthony Hartwig here with a player profile. It's our first journey into Boardman football this year. We're joined by senior Zach Haas. Zach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
You got it, buddy. And one of the things I always ask seniors, especially when we catch them at the start of the year, what's it like to just kind of go into senior year knowing that it's your last ride, knowing that you have to take everything in this year?
It's a great feeling. We got one last time to do it with your boys. It's all just a fun time.
Do you think that you can be a little bit more reflective this year on the things you've been able to accomplish and the things that you've been able to do in your high school career? Or are you locked into just this year?
I'd say more locked in this year. This year's the year it means everything, just to go far and do better than last year.
You know, you guys came in first week of the season and you made an emphatic statement that this year was going to be a lot different. You beat a team that had your number last year. So what was it like to come into the season and really take that first step and put your foot in the dirt and say, this is going to be our year?
It was a great feeling. Last year, they destroyed us. We didn't play a great game at all. And this year we came in, we were ready, we were more prepared. And it was a great feeling to finally get that win that showed us that we could do it, really.
As a senior, as a leader of this team, what were some of the things that you think was said in the locker room before the game and leading up to the game that made this attitude different, made you guys able to have that comeback mentality that you did? What has changed inside the locker room as far as chemistry and personality of this team?
I'd say we're just a close group of guys that just all want the same goal. We all want to win just as much as we can, and Coach Donis always says it's going to be a war every game, and that really gets us going. Just knowing that we're going to be in every game and we could beat whoever.
You know, there's a lot of stresses that come with senior year. You're focusing on your future. You're focusing on trying to end the senior year in the classroom with a great GPA. A lot of stresses. What kind of release is football to you? What kind of escape does it give you?
It's always been an escape for mine. It's all my problems just go away when I'm at football. I could just focus on that. It's a great thing to just escape to.
What's your favorite part about being a football player? Your favorite thing about being able to call yourself a football player?
I just love playing. It's always fun. The feeling you get, there's no feeling like it.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights. Explain to me what it feels like to you when you're in warm-ups, the lights turn on, you can hear the crowd getting ready for football, and that adrenaline starts just pumping in you.
Yeah, I get chill bumps every game. It's crazy. It's just knowing that everyone's there supporting you. All the work you put in is just going to pay off with everyone just supporting you.
Yeah, we always talk about home field advantage. What makes Boardman feel like home for you when you're playing a home game?
It's just a great community. The student section, we have one of the best around, I think. They're always cheering. Even the fans are up on their feet every play. It's great.
Now, I want to talk about you in the classroom too. Student athlete, student comes first in that phrase for a reason. Talk about your studies and some of the things you really like learning about.
I really like science and math. I think chemistry is my favorite thing I've taken so far or like in my career in school. It's always just a good class.
You're holding a 4.0 GPA, so it feels like you're putting in the work for sure. What kind of pride do you take in being able to hold up a GPA like that?
I think a lot. It takes a lot of effort, I'd say, to get a 4.0. So it's a really good feeling just knowing I'm able to do that.
What class do you think in your high school career has given you like the most problems and that had to have the biggest effort to keep that 4.0 up?
Probably English class. I'm not good at it, really, but I find a way to get through it, really.
I'm sure you couldn't have gotten to that point as well without teachers that guided you along the way. Are there any teachers in the Boardman system that you think really impacted your journey and got you to where you are with this 4.0?
I'd say really all of them are great, but my Italian teacher, Mrs. Bisciotti, she has been one of the best teachers I've had so far.
We have you down as a multiple sport athlete. We're going to see you in other sports seasons. What's it like to just play multiple sports and go from one season to the next?
It's just fun. I love playing. I play basketball. I love playing it, just running around, making plays. The energy, too. It's just a great game that has a ton of energy.
All right, there are a lot of great feelings in football, a lot of great feelings in basketball. You know, you have your buzzer beaters, you have your hitting your long passes, things like that. What is your favorite feeling in sports?
I'd say like as we're running out of the tunnel in football, there's like just the excitement that's happening. It's just I don't know how to explain it. It's just crazy.
Unexplainable feeling. We all get it. What are some plans after high school? Want to talk about your future? We don't want to see you go. We love covering you at Boardman, but you got to go into bigger pastures. So, what are some of the plans that you have after you graduate?
Yeah, I plan on going to college, hopefully getting a bachelor's degree in engineering in either electrical or chemical, and then just seeing where that takes me from there.
So, wanting to be an engineer, do you have an idea where you want to go for that? Do you have a college in mind, or do you have a couple of colleges that are down to that list?
I mean, obviously, I've always wanted to go to Ohio State, but pretty expensive there. And Ohio University and YSU are probably like the top three.
When you think about, what it's going to be like to leave the nest and start your next journey, what kind of things make you a little bit nervous about going away from home for college? And then what kind of things excite you about, leaving the home and being able to take that next step?
I'd say not being like by my parents every day. They're like a huge part of my life. They're there every day for me, but I sometimes got to let it go. And then some things I'm excited for are like just experiencing new things. Like everything's going to change once I go.
We've talked about what a senior leader you are. It means that the young players on the team, and maybe even the players that are even younger, not on the team yet, that are down in the youth, look up to you guys. They look up to you. They look up to your teammates. What's it like being a role model on the field and knowing that you have people looking up to you and you have people wanting to be in your shoes one day?
It's a great feeling because I was that same kid, always going to the football games, looking up to the players, like wanting to be in that spot, and now I am. It's just I take a lot of pride in being able to do that.
Who were the players you looked up to when you were a little kid? Who are the guys that you looked up to and said, I want to be like them when I grow up?
I'd definitely say Michael O'Horo. He actually helped me this past summer become a better quarterback. He coaches me. Always watching him play, he was a great player. Zach Ryan too. I always watched him play while I was growing up.
Those are your football role models. Talk about your role models in life, the people that you can go to when you're having a tough time or you need advice, and who are those for you?
I'd definitely say my family, my parents, and my sister. They're always there for me. They'll do anything for me. They've been a huge part in my life so far, and they will continue to be.
All right, Zach, before we let you go, we like to do this with every player profile. We like to give you the chance to take the limelight off yourself for a minute and thank the people that have been there for you, all your support, and the people that are just in your corner every day. So I want to give you the time to thank the people you want to thank. Give out your flowers, man.
I just like to thank all my family, all my friends, teammates, all of them, just teachers for everything they've done for me. I wouldn't be in the position I am without any of them.
All right, Zach, we appreciate your time, buddy. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of the season. We know it's going to be a great one for you guys and the Spartans. We thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking to you real soon.
Thank you.
No matter how many times I do that, there's bound to be like one in every 5 times where I forget to unmute myself and come back with an actual microphone, because that's live streaming, right? But that was Zach Haas, the quarterback of Boardman. What a great leader for this Boardman team. We've talked to a couple of their players already this season. We'll feature more of them throughout the season on Ysn Running Point. You can find 3-player profiles on the website as well and on our YouTube channel if you don't want to wait for them to pop up on the show. But what I love about this team is all 3 of them kind of echo it. There's a new energy to this team. There's a new leadership brand. There's just a new belief in what they can do. We saw it week 1 with their comeback win over a team that really took it to them last year, and they weren't afraid to say it, like, hey, they beat us. But we're not going to let that happen again. And, now they're 1-1, coming back home with a chance to go into week 4 with a winning record against Cheney, a team that's local. And anytime you're a team like Boardman, where you're playing an independent schedule in football, because the AAC doesn't really exist too much in football. They don't all play each other. When you're playing an independent schedule, the local teams on that schedule are kind of put above the rest. You want to beat the local teams. You want to make sure that when you're playing a Cheney, an Ursuline, a Fitch, a Canfield, those kind of teams, you want to make sure that you're the one that comes out on top and they know who you are. So a couple of non-local teams to start the season for Boardman, but now they get to come into our area, play Cheney, and kind of put a stamp on how much of a threat they can be in the area, which I think can be a pretty big threat, especially with the weather. I think the weather will be a big factor in this one. The rain puts the advantage into Boardman's hands, which segues us right into the preview for tonight. Let's go into the scoreboard. Let's pop it back up. Scoreboard on ysnlive.com. If you missed our recap of last night, the scoreboard is brought to you by our good friends over at I almost said Joe Dickey Electric again. They'll bring you the scoreboard tonight, scoreboard show after Audible Call. But our scoreboard on the website is presented by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs, proudly presented by them. Let's go and check out tonight's games. All football, all the time. Friday, we will start. This is, I think, in alphabetical order based on the away team, if I'm not mistaken. We start in Ashtabula St. John. The Heralds traveling to Beechwood to take on what is a team that I think is St. John can have a pretty good chance to win. Beechwood is a struggling football program. St. John, they can have their opportunities to win tonight. South Range with a big test. Division II Barberton coming to town. The Purple Magics, right, coming into South Range, I believe. Could it be wrong, but I very strongly believe this is like the first matchup between these two teams. I've been to South Range. I went to South Range, at least in my lifetime. I don't ever remember playing Barberton, so this could very well be the first matchup between the Magics and the Raiders. Very excited to see that. We're kind of, Barberton is a team that I have kind of a school that I have kind of a cool relationship with, because we go there so much for our tournament travels, and I've been a chance to talk with the AD a lot. So kind of like Barberton. I like the way that they host so much stuff, basketball and volleyball. I like how hospitable they are to YSN. So it's going to be fun to see them come and have a chance to be on YSN. TJ Oakley's going to give them a show, and hopefully the Magic fans can watch tonight's game and be like, wow, we want someone to talk about South Range, talk about us the way that DJ and Sam Bellino are going to be talking about South Range, because since it's a YSN team versus a non-YSN team, full disclosure, it's going to be an all-homership in the way of the South Range Raiders. So Barberton fans, if you can get past that and think that you want to hear people talk about your team like that, hit us up after the game. We love to add Barberton into the YSN family of schools, since we go there so much anyway with our tournament time. We'll go to Beaver Local next. They're going to be a tough one on the road. St. Clairsville. It's going to be a big test for that Beaver, especially the offense. Berkshire comes into Conneaut tonight. We have East Palestine. They're going to be hosting Bridgeport, not Connecticut. Not Bridgeport, Connecticut, but Bridgeport, the high school. Canfield, a tough road test going to Olmsted Falls tonight in week 3. We have Champion going to Campbell Memorial. The Red Devils, a tough loss last week on the final seconds, trying to bounce back from that. I already talked about the Boardman-Cheney game. That'll be a really fun one. Like I said, the rain could very well put advantage Boardman into this one. McDonald, undefeated so far on the year. They're playing Clearview. We have Struthers playing host to Dawn Community. Never heard of that high school. We'll have to see what they're about in the Struthers game. East Liverpool goes to Salem tonight. That's going to be the home opener for the Quakers. South Range. Springfield hosting Geneva. They've played them for a couple of years in a row now as a non-conference Week 3 game. So Springfield hoping that they can go 2-1 with a big win over the Eagles. Fitch hosting Glen Oak, the Battle of the Birds. The Falcons versus the the Glen Oak Hawks? Owls? They're definitely a bird. I forget which one. That might be the Eagles. Something wanted me to say Owls, but I don't think they're the Owls. Grand Valley going to Cardinals. Someone help me out in the comments, please, because my brain just farted, and I can't think of Glen Oak's mascot. Grand Valley going to Middlefield Cardinal. Harvey going to Edgewood tonight. Grand Valley and Edgewood both with, I think, winnable games right there in those two matchups as well. Hubbard and Howland, the old backyard rivalry between these two. Hubbard has looked amazing the first 2 weeks. Howland, really good week 1, shaky week 2, and against Poland, which I think was a lot closer than the final score indicated. What's Howland going to do? How do they bounce back from an up and down season so far? This might be the game of the night. Jackson, Milton, Wyndham, both undefeated, both under the radar teams that feel like they deserve a little time in the sun. And they can both get it with a win tonight and go into conference play 3-0 for both those teams. So we're going to see what each team is made of in Wyndham and Jackson Milton. Can't wait for that one. Lakeview traveling to Liberty tonight. Lakeview has not allowed a single point yet this year. 2 games, 2 shutouts. We'll see if they can continue that trend against the very speedy and athletic offense of Liberty. Louisville trying to take momentum after their win in week 2 as they travel to Northwest. Canal Fulton to play Northwest. Newton Falls hosting Matthews tonight. We have Niles. They're traveling to Lakeside. How about that Battle of the Dragons? Let's go. I don't think I've ever seen the Battle of the Dragons before. Feeling like a Game of Thrones or a House of the Dragon episode, right? Dragon battles. Gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun one in Ashtabula, Lakeside versus Niles. Pymatuning Valley gonna be hitting the road to Jefferson. We have Middle Ridge hosting St. Thomas Aquinas, who the YSN teams have not been kind to St. Thomas Aquinas the first 2 weeks of the season. So we hope to continue that trend in Middle Ridge as the Rams look to have a big home victory over St. Thomas Aquinas, coming all the way from Louisville. Cardinal Mooney trying to get on track, but it's going to be hard. They're welcoming in Steubenville, who we know travels really well, so they're going to have a great support staff in Youngstown for that matchup. We have Latonia hosting Strasburg Franklin, a team that softball fans know very well. They're probably one of the best softball programs in the whole state of Ohio. In fact, they just won a state this year, and I think they did break the record for most state championships by any program in the state of Ohio. So you could say they are the best program in the state. Tuscarora Central Catholic coming to play Lowville tonight. We have United going to Crestview. I think this will be a very good game. I'm very excited for United versus Crestview. Old school conference rivals. United kind of trying to find their identity still a little bit. Got a couple of really close wins. Crestview, same thing, right? Same thing. I'm really excited to see who kind of locks down for this win. I think it's going to be a really good game. Ursuline going to Farrell tonight, going into PA to play Farrell. Ursuline, that's going to be a big road test for the Irish. Valley Christian playing Brookfield. I really like this West Branch Girard matchup. I think it's the one that a lot of eyes are on right now because they're the big name teams and what West Branch has been able to do the first 2 weeks of the season. That might be the one that a lot of, binoculars not under the radar are on with West Branch and Girard. Western Reserve going to Columbiana. That's a nice rivalry there between those two. They know each other really, really well. There are not going to be any secrets between these two programs. So I think no surprises in this game. And I like games where with familiarity where it's just going to be who plays the best, who executes. No trickery, no taking someone off guard. It's just who executes at the highest level. And I like those football games. Wycliffe goes to Orange tonight. That'll be a big matchup for the Lions as they try to go 3-0. Waterloo traveling to Lisbon. Perry hosting Kirtland. That is powerhouse matchup forever, right? Kirtland, state powerhouse. Perry, reigning state champions. Here we go. Hornets, Pirates. That's going to be a fun one tonight. Don't sleep on that one from the brand new member of the YSN family, Perry. Can't wait for that one. Can't wait to watch it. Beaver and Imani Christian getting together over in PA. We have Garrettsville Garfield traveling to Riverside, trying to I'm sorry. I saw Riverside's logo. It was actually Normandy. But traveling to Normandy, not the beaches in France, but the high school, as they try to bounce back from last week's loss to JFK. We have Poland. They're going to hit the road as well. They play Fireland on the road. We have Wellsville hitting the road to Caldwell. East will play at home tonight against Cleveland JFK. We have Southeast going to Cuyahoga Falls. We have Hoban. They're going to be hitting the road. They will play at Bucktel. And then Mohawk will be traveling to Shenango tonight to wrap out our scoreboard and the slate of games that will be featured on the scoreboard tonight. Now let's get to the games that will be covered. Let's go through the games that will be on ysnlive.com that you'll be able to see in their entirety on the website. And then we'll also say who's going to be out there covering for tonight as well. So here are the games that will be on the network tonight and the announcers that we will be hearing with your favorite teams. We start with Ashtabula, St. John, and Beechwood. It'll be Sam Torres making the trip with the Heralds. He'll be there for the call on that one. As I said before, DJ Oakley and Sam Polino going to be on the call for Barberton and South Range. Michael McKenzie will be on the call for Beaver Local at St. Clairsville. He'll be traveling with the Beavers. Berkshire and Conneaut, that's going to be WOW TV taking care of that one, so we'll have a link to their YouTube on the website. As always, the East Palestine going to be covered by Figley. Tim Figley going to be on the call for that one. Donnie Riccatelli and Don Mashula are going to be on the call for Cheney at Boardman. We have CJ Bako, Clearview at McDonald. That's going to be covered by him. Matt Romeo and Tom Otto going to be on the call for Struthers, hosting Dawn Community. Matt Mowry and Jared Niederheiser are going to be on the call in Salem. You'll be able to hear their wonderful voices for another year of Salem football. Springfield going to be covered by Noah Doty and CJ Schroeds. Ty Bartell going to be in Austintown Fitch for their matchup with Glen Oak. Tyler Hart's going to be in Grand Valley as they travel to Cardinal. Larry Jennings will be in Edgewood for their matchup with Harvey. We have Zach Svensson going to be in Hubbard and Howland, so he'll have the call for that one. Wyndham School is taking care of Jackson Milton and Wyndham. We have Jordan Barber. He'll be at Liberty for their matchup with Lakeview. Rob Johnson will be on the call for Louisville and Northwest. We have Dakota Kitzel on the call for Niles and Lakeside. He'll be taking the trip to Ashtabula County. Scott Demos and Chad Paul going to be on the call for Jefferson and Pymatuning Valley. Chris Ziegler and Steve Leslie going to both be on the call for Mooney and Steubenville. Eric Hughes going to be there for Lowville and Tuscarawas Central Catholic. We have Tony Perazio going to be at United at Crestview. Tim Corso is going to be on the sidelines for United and Erston and Farrell. As a reporter, you'll have interviews from that game, and you'll have a great story from Tim Corso for that one. Anthony Malone going to be on the call for Brookfield and Valley Christian. Matt Marr going to be on the call for West Branch and Girard. We have Western Reserve and Columbiana. Joe Eusebio is going to be there. Wycliffe and Orange is going to be covered by the school. And then Waterloo and Lisbon going to be covered by Larry Scragg and Dominic Pearson. Unfortunately, that Kirtland Perry game will not be on YSN. Spectrum has the video rights for that game, so that one will have to be streamed on Spectrum if you want to watch that one for that. So those are the games that will be on the network tonight. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 games on the network tonight. No one can say that or beat that, I would guarantee, in the whole country when it comes to one night for high school football. So make sure you're at ysnlive.com/live. If you don't want to watch one game but want to watch all of them, make sure to tune into the Audible call with myself and Mike Ackelson. We'll be flipping from game to game to game to make sure that every game gets kind of featured. We try to get all the touchdowns on that show as well. So make sure to be on that call if you want to watch all the games, if you're just a football fan. And then also check out the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard Show later on tonight around 10 o'clock as we go over all the finals and talk to some of the announcers after the games. Real quick, before we get out of here, we want to preview tomorrow what's going on. We'll hop it on the scoreboard. We'll jump to tomorrow. Scroll down too far. So tomorrow, which will be September 7th, here's what we look like. We do have one football game, JFK and LeBray playing each other. That'll be at Liberty High School, so that'll be a fun one. Volleyball, we have Lordstown, Heartland Christian, Beaver Local hosting Steubenville, United hosting Lordstown, Beaver Local hosting Weir. That'll be a tri-match at Beaver Local. Streetsboro and Perry, that's going to be a tri-match at Bay Village Bay, so make sure that Perry will be at Bay, so it'll be Bay, Streetsboro, and Perry all playing each other there in a tri-match. United Heartland Christian playing each other tomorrow. St. Vincent St. Mary going to Louisville. Wadsworth traveling to Hoban. We have Worcester also coming to Hoban. That'll be a tri-match there. Crestwood and East Liverpool and West Branch, and Crestwood and West Branch. That'll be a tri-match there in Beloit as well. All the action there starts at 10 a.m. as West Branch will be the team that plays 2 in a row. They'll have the first game off, and then they'll play East Liverpool and Crestwood back-to-back. So make sure to be there for that one. On the boys soccer scene tomorrow, we have South Range at Salem, Hoban hosting Stone Monroe Falls, Louisville going to Glen Oak, Mooney going to Boardman, Kenston going to Fitch, Canfield hosting Aurora, Marlington and Howland, Warren Harding going to Columbiana, United going to Crestwood, East Palestine going to Conneaut, Waterloo going to Tuslaw. We have Newton Falls going to Girard. Niles will be traveling to Ravenna. Mohawk will be traveling to Elwood City. And then Beaver Boys Soccer will host Sewickley Academy tomorrow as well. Girls Soccer, we have 10 games tomorrow going on. Louisville hosting Marlington. Fitch traveling to Maslin Perry. Boardman going to Niles. We have Indian Creek going to Edison. Conneaut going to Grand Valley. Crestwood hosting United. That'll be a boys-girls both. Gerritsville Garfield going to LeBray. Newton Falls going to Girard. Poland going to West Branch. And Mooney will be hosting, North Ridgeville. Now, when it comes to the games that will be on the network tomorrow, I will be at the tri-match for West Branch, East Liverpool, and Crestwood. So that one will be covered tomorrow, all 3 of those matches. And we'll have girls soccer. Ron Johnson will be covering the Louisville game. So that'll be on the network. And then football tomorrow, Noah Doty and CJ Schroeds will be covering Warren JFK and LeBray from Liberty. So that one will be covered tomorrow as well. Take a deep breath. That's a lot to get in. That's a lot to take in. A lot of football going on tonight, and then a lot of volleyball and soccer, and one football game going on tomorrow. It's all brought to you by our sponsors at YSN, and all going to be on greenwoodchevrolet.com. Make sure to tune into all the action over the weekend as we will sign off and be back on Monday from 1 to 2 to talk about all the action that goes on. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate it. We want to thank Zach Haas for his time doing a player profile. We were able to feature it on today's show. And we will once again see you tomorrow. I should say tomorrow. See you on Monday, 1 to 2 on Running Point. Brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll see you on Monday.